be talking and I use my hands to talk a lot, and I realized that I was keeping my hands to myself. I was in so much pain.
Oh, man.
Because I was kneading my empanadas one by one. Back then, it was only 350 empanadas a week. We're making 2,700 now.
Welcome back to another episode of the Dine 16, a Sacramento food podcast where we take you behind the scenes of your favorite places to eat in town or help you find your new favorite places to eat in town. I'm your host, Max Connor, joined, as always, with my co-host, Neil Little. Neil, what has been going on the last couple weeks, man?
Not too much, just kind of avoiding this like semi-heat that we have. I know it's not like that 100 degrees, but it has been quite warm recently. And actually, the other day, I was actually able to get some good lunch from a friend of the podcast, Billy at Shumai. He has started doing his, Boko King? Banh mi dips at Shumai for lunches on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So definitely recommend you guys go and check that out. Max, how any fun food adventures in your past?
You know, I had a funny moment today, actually, where there's a lot of ways I start to feel my age more and more as I get further into my 40s. But I had a moment that was independent of that food-wise. I was driving to Davis, and there's a billboard for a new Carl's Jr. chicken sandwich called the Something Max. And it's like a double quarter pounder version of a fried chicken sandwich. So it has just two massive fried chicken patties in between buns with cheese. And I audibly just went, oh, God. And my daughter was like, what? And I just had the feeling, all I could think was how terrible I would feel if I ate that sandwich. And then I got really sad. And I was like, man, you're getting old. Like 20 years ago, I would have been like, hell yeah, dude.
Game on.
Next stop, Carl's Jr. And all I could think was just how awful I would feel if I ate even half that sandwich.
I will admit I am still a sucker for promotional things. So, but that is just too much. I agree. And yes, no, but funny, 20 years ago, it's like double Big Mac, game on, let's do it. And now I shuddered just listening to your story. Mind you, friends, this is a man who said he didn't feel his age who was bald. So just shall we clarify that real quick?
Sure. I said feel it. I mean, we're all stuck in our 14-year-old brains, regardless
100%.
of what we see in the mirror. Neil, you know, we went on a pretty good hiatus, and then we had Patricio on our episode 2 weeks ago, and we got an outstanding response. So I know you wanted to just call out to listeners for sticking with us.
For those of you that don't know what Max is talking about, we last week with the Patricio episode, we crossed the 10,000 download marks. So I am just humbly blown away by that. Like, as I laughed with Max, if you told me 1,000 downloads, I would have been happy. So I just want to thank everyone who has listened to us over the years with the breaks in between and whatnot. But that is, it's awesome to know that you guys don't mind listening to me. I don't have many people that say that they like doing that. So I'm sure all my aunts and uncles and mom are laughing at me right now. But yeah, just like, wow, thank you. I never would have imagined this is what we would have gotten to from our stumbling start a few years ago. So again, yeah, I think I can speak for Max on this as well. Just like, thank you guys. This is awesome.
Yeah, we're excited to keep doing this show. It's really invigorated us to get these episodes out every 2 weeks, and we have a whole bunch already lined up. So we're going to keep it going strong. Today's guest, an old friend of Neil's from his very first place he worked in town, who has a journey from prep cooking at home to prep cooking in a kitchen to serving to not working in restaurants to back making some of the most just kind of interesting food in Sacramento. Funny, probably someone you haven't heard of. And yet, if you try to line up at her farmer's market stand, you can plan to wait for a very, very long time to get what she's cooking.
Yeah, I would almost call her kind of the superwoman of Sacramento. If you've ever been to the farmer's market, you have smelled her delicious creations. And so we had Maria from Maria's Paella on. So please enjoy this episode.
Yeah, let's dive right in. Maria Perez, thank you so much for being here. It's a pleasure to have you on the Dine 16. We cannot wait to hear your story.
Thank you. Thank you. The pleasure is all mine.
So our first question is always, what was food like for you growing up? What was food like in the home?
Food, I'm the youngest of 6 children, and there's always a cousin or the neighbors. My mom was always cooking for all of us, and I'm very lucky. I grew up in a city very similar to Sacramento, city with 3 rivers in it, very green, very agricultural. So we mostly grew what we ate, and we're still doing. We are the capital of tomatoes. That's why I have tomatoes on my tattoos. So we were either helping my mom prep. We were not allowed to stay any near the fire because we used to cook on fire a lot. So we would go pick cilantro, tomatoes, peeling carrots or potatoes, help my mom cutting veggies. And that's how I grew up, always being part of it, where cooking was part of our everyday life. Like we finished breakfast and we were already thinking what we're going to have for a snack or lunch. Something was always cooking. Something was always on we call hornilla, the fire pit per se. So it was always going since the morning where you brew your fresh coffee until not even the evening because you cook beans overnight. So only with just 1 or 2 sticks to lower the heat, and it was ready for breakfast the next day.
Now, where was this?
I was born and raised in Culiacan, Sinaloa.
Okay. Now, is that Mazatlan?
I am 2 hours north of Mazatlan.
2 hours north. Okay, cool. Did you have any responsibilities for cooking? When did that become kind of a thing, like the expanding from the prep cooking into cooking your own things?
You know, my parents were not very traditional in that case, in that sense. We were 4 girls, 2 boys. And my parents, my dad particularly, didn't want us to be housewives. He wanted us to be educated and see the world. For him, his goal was to give us education and have a visa. Because we always had a visa since I was a child, because my dad was a truck driver. He will drive produce to the Arizona border, and we will cross to Tucson, Arizona to do shopping and come back to home. So I'm going to tell you that I didn't cook much when I was at home. I started working here in the U.S. when I moved here when I was 17. And I started working in restaurants when I realized that I knew so much about the prep work. But putting things together, the knowledge and flavors, and it's in me. It's in all this woman ancestry that I come from, women in the kitchen. Like my grandma raised 6 children on her own by cooking tamales and baking bread to sell.
Wow.
And I remember her, because in Sinaloa we have this bread that's called pan de mujer. It's much similar to the Filipinos. They call señorita bread. So you have pan of woman. And you make the little balls, and you need soft hands to kind of press it. So that was also my job. I was not baking the bread, but I was pressing the bread to kind of expand it.
Oh man, señorita bread that's one of my downfalls. You put a box in front of me, I'll eat.
The box.
Oh yes,
yeah, I can eat 10 pounds of señorita bread. I feel
100%. Me too. Have you tried the ube ones that you're making?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really good. That's beautiful. I mean, yeah, that's just food ingrained in your life growing up. What were some of your mom or grandmother's specialties, would you say?
My mom, it's the best flour tortilla making person. I was talking earlier to you about having the pot of beans on fire the next day. That was the best meal growing up. We call frijoles de la primera guisada, which is the first refried, because you keep on reheating beans and becomes a very refried. So the first refried with freshly made flour tortillas and pico de gallo from the tomatoes they send us to pick. That's the best meal I remember from my mom.
I think this is the quickest I've ever been hungry into a podcast.
The joke in the podcast, there's always a moment where we're like, okay, I'm now officially starving. And usually it's like 20 or 30 minutes in, not 8.
5. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
She had me at fresh flour tortillas.
Yeah, no, me too. It's like, flour tortilla with some butter on it. A fresh one is like,
yeah.
My
How can you
gosh.
be? Yes.
Also, I love how progressive your dad was and like
Yeah, that's
wanting you to be
beautiful.
out there and pushing you forward and I think that's really awesome. So growing up, where did you think you were going to end up growing up, especially when you got to being 17-year-old and coming across the border? What was your life like, and where did you think it was going prior to that, or was the goal always to get over here?
I've always been a big dreamer. I wanted to see the world, and my dad, again, being a truck driver, he was traveling around Mexico a lot, and he will take us all summer with him in his truck. So I actually know Mexico very well, and I wanted to see more than that. Traveling opens your mind. So I know there's borders, there's countries I can see, and I wanted to see that. When I moved to the U.S., I was here just to help my grandma because I was the only one with a visa again in the family, and that I was young enough to leave home and help her. And I was going to stay here for weeks. I asked my parents for permission to stay longer, and the rest is history.
So you came straight to Sacramento.
I came straight to Sacramento.
Okay.
Sacramento is very similar to my hometown. Weather-wise, the city is beautiful, the food is good. And I met my first friend, and I met my first husband, and the rest is history. But I knew it. I knew that I was not going to stay in Mexico. I wanted to see the world. I wanted to speak another language. I remember in my playing and speaking English as children. It was not English, of course. It was sounds. And yeah, but I knew there was a world out there to see. And the best way to see the world is by eating their foods. Like everywhere I go, I'm very lucky to be able to travel a lot. I like to live a simple life so I can afford traveling.
I've never thought about it that way. You're absolutely right. The best way to see the world is to eat it.
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. Like you can't mimic that, I feel like.
No, people feel connected to you, and they open the world to you. You're just humble enough to be eating what they eat.
And it's also like the appreciation of like you're appreciating where you are.
Yeah.
Like you have certain foods from certain areas that like again you can't get anywhere else. So if you're acknowledging and appreciating that from somewhere, that's the most like direct, humble appreciation of a place.
Totally.
100%, yes.
Yeah. It connects sort of, I mean, you can go see historical sites, right? You can go to these grand cathedrals and historical sites, but like food has both, right? It connects you to the history of the country and what you're eating, as well as to the here and now of that person who's serving it to you and where you're sitting. It's when my wife and I go on a trip like that is the purpose. We're basically going to eat is primarily what we're excited about and what we're going to do, and that's what we look up first, and that's why, because that's what the experience is all about for me.
First thing, where are we going? What food do they do there?
Yeah.
Where
Or
are we
actually,
eating?
what do I want to try next?
Right?
Yeah, no, that
what
too.
have I
Like,
not
what do I
had?
need? Yeah.
Totally.
I'm going to Argentina in December for the first time. And which markets am I going to visit?
Yeah.
That's me. What am I going to eat? I'm so excited to eat an empanada they have it called open leg empanada. Because you eat it and it spills.
Okay.
So you have to have your legs open to
that's
I
awesome.
love it. Okay, I was worried it was open legs in the empanada. I was like,
scared
I'm
me
a little
too.
Yeah,
concerned
that's-
there by the name, but once you say it, I'm like, no, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I know, me too. So I get it. I
Yeah.
was like, So I'm already thinking about spring. What am I going to do in the spring break? We're going to go to San Sebastián, Spain, that I've never been to. Yes. Spain. Spain I have, but not
Sure.
San Sebastián, which is the Mecca of good food. And,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
So you moved to Sacramento at 17. Where taking care of your grandma? How did you kind of get integrated into the food scene in Sacramento back then?
actually, I went to school, to Fremont School, for adult school for my ESL classes, English as second language. And I made my first friend in the U.S., still very close, Karen. And she told me about this wonderful place she worked at called Aioli's.
Oh,
So I started working at Aioli's as a busser in the evenings. And in the mornings, I needed another job. So I went to apply at Rio City Cafe. But they wouldn't hire me as a busser because I speak no English. So Luis, my now brother-in-law, a crazy world, the world works. He hired me as in the prep. So Rio City in 2002, I started in the prep.
in 2002.
2002.
No kidding.
So I was in the prep for a few months, and then I moved up to the pantry. pantry saute, grill. And then I was hired as a waitress at Zocalo because I speak a little better English then. And I left both jobs because I was making enough money at Zocalo to, like, I can leave these 2 jobs.
Yeah.
So I kept one.
That's fantastic. I didn't know you were cooking at Rio City clear back then. When did you go back to serve there?
2014.
Okay.
But, I'm working as my first kitchen job was there. I learned so much. And Luis, my now brother-in-law, he's married to my sister now. He taught me so much. And I owe a lot to him in the kitchen, especially American, a traditional cuisine, because it's very old school. He still put, a rosemary stick to his dishes, but very earthy, very humble flavors.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
So after working in front of the house for a while, when did you know you wanted to get back into the back of the house and start cooking your own things again for public consumption?
I didn't.
Oh.
No, once you work in the industry, you just want to explore everything. And I was very lucky when I worked at Zocalo that we were sent to different places to try new foods, wines, all this training, and you want to try more. And I always have this, to me, cooking it's very healing. I cook at home very easy items, quesadilla or soup, something easy. But I can also cook very complex dishes. And I know when I'm cooking complex dishes is because personally going through something. So it takes me all day in the kitchen, drinking coffee, cleaning, listening to music, shedding tears, crying, talking to my mom on the phone. And I was like, okay, it's a way to heal, to channel the sad energy I'm going through because we're humans. We go through emotions. So I started cooking more in the house. And then I realized I don't want to be in the restaurant industry for a long time. So I studied, got my real estate license, and I became a real estate agent. In 2000, I was an assistant for an agent in 2007. So, but I was able to finally apply for one in 2015. So I started working in real estate, but I realized that I needed to take it seriously. So I got my first 2 clients were coming to Rio City when I was working as a waitress to sign paper or pick up stuff, and I was like, this is not professional. So I saved enough money to leave for 6 months in case I didn't get any deal. I quit my job at Rio City and I focused on real estate.
One of the things that I've come to enjoy doing this podcast with people who I consider are my friends is that there are so many stories I still don't know about them. And I think Maria's a perfect example. Like when she came into my life, she was a server with me at Rio, an absolutely outstanding server. The way she had so much grace and control of her tables, it was so much fun to watch her from behind the bar and just see her have an entire section under control. But to also know that she was behind the scenes years before that, cooking and prepping and grinding, and as any restaurant person will tell you, that's the heart and soul of the restaurant. We're just the people out front that can talk. But hearing that she was so much a part of that part of the restaurant was just so cool, and I'm just so happy for her to kind of get back to her roots and what she's doing with the paella.
Yeah, I mean, the beginning of the story, you can see why she was a good server. I mean, she's just immediately engaging person, and so much of her story taps into so many of the themes we talk about on this show, right? Like food being really important growing up, working in the kitchen at home growing up, translating to working in commercial kitchens. But also I love that bit when she talked about how she knew something was kind of going on that she was struggling with emotionally when she would decide to cook some crazy in-depth meal. And that was me during COVID. As cliche as it is, I started baking sourdough during COVID, in addition to 3 or 4 times a week spending 5-6 hours in the kitchen making dinner for my entire family that my kids wouldn't eat, inevitably, even if it was delicious. It was hard, and she talked about, difficult times. She would spend hours in the kitchen cooking and then sort of realize something must be going on. But I also found it was really interesting that sort of was almost part of what then pushed her to like, I don't know that I want to work in food forever. And, you know, she's got 2 kids. Like, let's go into something more lucrative and work in real estate.
It's what every restaurant person does. We have to kind of see and test out, you know, is the grass greener on the other side? And it's funny how often so many of us come back.
All right. Well, I was just mentioning COVID. You know, you're listening to this probably wondering, like, okay, so is this the end of the story? Like, what? Oh, we talked a whole bunch about food and her love of food and cooking in kitchens and working in kitchens. Now she's a real estate agent. How does she get back to, you know, slinging paella at the farmer's market? Well, that's where we're going to go. And funnily enough, I was just talking about COVID. COVID had a big role to play in the next big transition in Maria's life.
I remember that in 2019, I went to London with my good friend Sule. She was celebrating her divorce. A good reason to celebrate, right? And we went to the bar market. I was freezing and I wanted some wine. And then I heard from far somebody yelling, Paella. And what's paella? I just got closer and it was this guy making paella. I was like, I want that. The smell, very strong fishy smell. And then as you get closer, then you get all the elements in the paella. You get the saffron, you even get the citrus. I mean, I grew up by the coast, so I know how fresh fish smell. And I was like, and you started to materialize the sound of paella, the smell of paellas, and now you see it. Mm. So I was like, wow, I want this. So I stepped in line because it was like a really, really long line. And I got my paella, my glass of wine, and I sat on the table, on the communal table. And I met people from Italy, from Morocco, world travelers. We were talking about our stories while we were there on the same table, eating the same thing, sharing. So I'm like, wow, I love this. Nobody's doing it in Sacramento. One day I will be doing it. That was 2019. COVID happened.
Oh.
And it just changed my entire life. It was really fun at the beginning because then I had our good friend Paola working in the wine industry. She was sending me cases of wine a week. Cases of wine a week.
That's how a lot of people got through early COVID.
Yes, you should have seen my recycle every other week. No, come every week, right? So and I started to cook a lot again with my kids, and I still have my small little paella for my son and I. But now I live in I call it a private community. It's not a private community, but it is gated. In the property, we have 3 duplexes. Mm. And I love it because we are very close. We're like a family. I call it it's my blue zone, my kibbutz.
Yeah.
And we live in Sacramento, in California, in America. My daughter opens the back door and she plays all day with her neighbors. I don't worry about it because she's safe and she's playing with kids her age. And then I start making paella for all of us. Then I realized how beautiful it is. One dish, we're eating, and everybody was just standing up around the paella, serving on our plates, eating, and then one more, one plate. And like, nobody wanted to do dishes. It was one plate, and it kept us together. It's just around one dish. The energy I was in, surrounding the cooking together and the eating together, it's just unmatchable, I think. And then in 2021, my brother passed away through COVID. Such a loss makes you revisit your life.
Yeah.
And it made me realize, what am I doing? Is this what I want to do? This is why I left my life in Mexico. I'm doing this. I have 2 children. I'm a single mom. What am I going to do? Then I realized it was time to do something regarding food. And I'm like, what am I going to do? Birria tacos, like I love them. It was very, very popular now.
Trendy.
Trending.
For sure, yeah.
So I was like, what's trending? I was like, something that nobody's doing it. I need to do something that nobody's doing it.
Smart.
And it's true. And I was reminded of the paella. I don't know, something popped out on my stories. And I was like, paella it is. So I called the farmer's market. So they told me, oh, no, we open applications in January, February. So, okay, I sent my application January, February 2022. And they said, where's your website? Where's your pictures? I had nothing. I'm like, okay, what do I do? That's when the trip to Spain happened. So I was like, okay, we're going to go to Spain. We're not taking cooking lessons, taking videos, pictures, and making a website out of it and a story. Because I really learned how to make paella from my son's family, my mother-in-law. She taught me, she was married to a Spaniard. She taught me how to make paella. So that's why I came up with the idea of paella and not birria tacos.
Yeah.
Which I love them. And now I have a birria empanada in my menu. Yeah.
And that was one of the things it seemed like from your story that you did empanadas as well. So I know you kept applying to the farmer's market. They finally said yes. And it sounds like it took off quickly, right, at the farmer's market. So tell us a little bit about that story of, going to the farmer's market, not exactly sure how it's going to go or what to do, and how you sort of reacted and adapted to your business. Suddenly people saying, I want more empanadas, more paella, please.
It's funny. Like I said, I didn't have a plan, but I knew it was going to do well. I didn't know it was going to be this fast and this good, but I knew it was going to be good. And in my head, I had a model to follow because it was not a business plan. I don't want to make this a business. But, with all the training you get in real estate, in the restaurant industry, I had a plan in my mind.
Sure.
So going to Spain helped me really shape the business because at first it was only paella. And it was paella. I wanted to use the farmer's market as my marketing tool to do events for wineries, especially wineries and private events such weddings. And going to Spain shaped the business. Why? Because I noticed that it was a big element. And it was one whole thing that I was missing. It was like paella, they have empanadas and churros. But empanadas are like a deep dish empanada. So I was like, it's going to be a mess to cut this. So the next step in the business is to bring empanadas. And the third and last one will be the churros. But you first need to try it. Because at the end, this is a family business. My son and I started it. He was helping me. He's now 19. He was 16 then, so who wanted to be there, right? At 16, getting up at 5:30 in the morning to help your mom putting up a setup in the farmer's market.
Yeah.
Such a good boy. So we were playing with the dough, and it took us several months to finally find the right one. I wanted to make an empanada that's friendly to everyone. Because if I make something really, really like Sinaloa made, it was going to be overpowering and very spicy for you. So I don't want that. I want it to be friendly. So we finally came with the empanada. It's true.
You're absolutely right.
And we have to be open and humbled about it. We want to have a successful business, and we want to show the world our cuisine.
Yeah.
So we came with empanadas, and just like I thought, it complemented the paella very well. That's when the business took off, when I brought the empanadas. This was the second year of the business.
You mentioned being fast and organized and efficient. I mean, I think I read you were selling upwards of 600 empanadas on a Saturday at the farmer's market. I mean, what's it like to prep and prepare 600 empanadas in, a small period?
Yes, I wasn't humbled enough, I would say this, because I wanted to handmade all the empanadas. But there was a time that I was, I'm a big talking, and I use my hands to talk a lot, and I realized that I was keeping my hands to myself. Like, why is this? I'm very spiritual, and everything in your body means something. So I was like, am I protecting myself? Why am I keeping my hands to my body? And I realized I couldn't stretch my hands. I was in so much pain.
Oh, man.
Because I was kneading my empanadas one by one. Back then, it was only 350 empanadas a week by myself. only. Oh yeah, but now we're talking about we're making 2,700 now. I mean, we're selling 2,700 empanadas a week.
Dang.
And I was like, no, I have to find a way to help me make the empanadas, because we were making the dough, we were portioning it, each by each little empanada. 3 ounces of balls, and then round it. And then we were making the shells, filling the empanada, and kneading it. Then we start bringing machines. So we have dough shitters, and the flattens our dough. We have shells cutter. We make today is empanada shell making day. So my sister is there. She's making the dough. So by the time, I have an amazing team now, all mostly female. A lot of drama. Yeah, we deal with hormones. What can we do?
Hold on. It's restaurants. Guys are just as bad about drama in restaurants. It's.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, we're just as bad.
I was just reminded this Saturday I got the biggest line ever in my business. It was all the way in around L Street.
Oh my gosh.
And my partner was there, and I was pissed. I was really upset. It was the first week of us using toast in the farmer's market. And he actually reminded me, he pulled me aside and said, remember what you always say about your business, how fun it is? Don't forget that. And he was like, you're absolutely right. So I took a deep breath, and I was like, really? Nobody was complaining. It was in my head.
Right.
It was in my head.
Yep.
So I was yelling at him. And he's been my good friend for 17 years and good friend for 10, and very good now that we're in a relationship for the last 5 years, that I know him very well. And I was very impressed that he didn't walk out on me. He has zero tolerance and patience for anything. So actually, after a shift, and I realized I was kind of really mean, then I called him. I was like, hey, where are you? Let's go grab a beer. I remind him what you said. In the restaurant industry, we get rush hour, we get so busy, we get crazy, angry, whatever. But at the end of the shift, you go have a drink, and that's it. You come out the next day for the next shift, and everything is fine.
You come out stronger from it.
Exactly. You're going to take it with you. So I told him that, because it's never worked in a restaurant. And I told him, in the restaurant industry, this happens a lot. So I want you to know that. It wasn't personal. It was just I was stressed.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think in restaurants, it's almost a level of trust that, like, you establish with someone. Like, yes, I might snap at you mid-shift, but it doesn't mean anything personally. And that's almost the people you're closest with, if that makes any sense. Like, someone you're closer with, they give you the leeway of being like, hey, that wasn't cool, but we'll drink about it later and everything's going to be fine. I think that's a level of, like, trust there that it shows, as inappropriate as it may be. And I'm guilty of it as well. But
because you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't necessarily miss that. I miss the sort of surviving an absolutely bonkers shift and getting to the end of it and looking around at everybody and being like, all right, that was nuts.
Yeah.
Like, now let's clean up and come back tomorrow. But that, like, I loved that feeling at the end of the night of having gotten through a Friday or Saturday night that was
insane.
Tickets on the floor, like, tickets are getting stained in beer on the floor because the ticket counter is putting all the way to the bottom, and you're just like, half of you is just like, I'm either going to scream, spontaneously combust, or just walk out, but you just go. And then when it's over, it's one of the best feelings for me in the industry. And
going back to the prep, how our prep looked today, it was also, this is a big step in my business as a I would say as a business owner, not as a chef, because I don't see myself as a chef. I am a food aficionado. I love textures, I love flavors, smells, trying new things, but I will never compare myself to amazing chefs that I've worked with. They have education, they know a lot more than what I do. So today we get in our first delivery. I used to go shop for all my products. So this is a big step for us.
Man, that is a big step.
It's a big step for many reasons. I get time to spend with you guys. And every time I pray and meditate before leaving the house, I wake up an hour earlier than anyone in my house. I adopted my niece and nephew, so still have 3 kids at home. I have 2 dogs and a cat. So when the house is quiet, that's when I wake up and take my cup, the first cup of coffee. You know how that is. That's unmeasurable. So I get my first cup of coffee. I say my first because I get several through the day. I pray and I set an intention for the day. And every time I go to the restaurant store, the restaurant depot, and I get to see the faces of chefs and people that go do this shopping, they don't look happy. They do not look happy. And I'm like, I really pray that I never get to that point. The day I'm not enjoying what I do, I will stop doing it. And I promise I will. Because you transmit so much in the things you do, especially when it's food. People taste that.
Yeah.
Taste the love. I'm very blessed, lucky that my booth, it gets a lot of attention. So once I was making those friendly flavors empanadas, only chicken, shrimp, chicken, beef, and then you get a vegetarian one. So we make the mushrooms. But I was missing something. I was like, I'm missing me. I'm Mexican. I wanted to bring my flavors.
Yeah.
So we started making the chicharrón, the pork belly and green salsa.
So good.
And I'm like, we can make tacos of anything. We can make an empanada.
That's right. Yeah.
So once I started making those flavors, from 350 empanadas, we went up to 600. This Saturday, we sold over 600 empanadas at the market.
Holy cow.
Do you sell out every market?
Yes, we do.
Holy cow. That's
we do
awesome.
sell out.
Neil, one of my favorite things about Maria's story is everyone thinks they have a good idea. And a lot of chefs, I think, that have been in the industry for a long time are really convinced that they know. There's all this like, I know the market and I know what people want. And, or there's the overly arrogant, like, I don't give a shit what people want. I'm just going to cook what I want to cook and you're going to like it. That usually. But Maria just had this real intuition of just, oh, this is going to work. And I could not be more charmed by, I'm just going to sell paella at the farmer's market and just call them up. And they were like, well, we're not taking applications now. And then she calls them back 6 months later and they're like, well, who are you? And what do you do? Where's your website? And she didn't have any of it, but she was just like, well, this idea is going to work. Can you just let me show up and sell paella? And so essentially, while she went to Spain, as you heard, and got some pictures and put together a website and a little bit of a presence, that's essentially what she did. She was just like, no, I'm just going to show up to the farmer's market and make this delicious paella, and people are going to love it. And that's exactly what's happened.
Two things come to mind. The first one is, like, if you give a mouse a cookie, I feel like that's kind of where Maria, like, she just kept doing the next step in a process. But that's what was so endearing about it was, and where I get to in part 2, is like she's doing it for the right reasons. She didn't go into this venture thinking like, I'm going to make $200,000 this year. Like, I don't think money has ever been a thought to her. It's just been bringing good food and making people happy and, feel the dreams. If you build it, they will come. And she's putting, a great product out there with local ingredients to all of us in Sacramento. And it's absolutely fantastic. I can speak to it. I've had it a few times. You can taste the love and passion and family and everything that Maria is.
Again, I mean, why we do this podcast, we talked about it, and to get such a clear through line of a story of her getting out of food and then during COVID cooking for her family and for this little group of people in this community she lives in, and just sort of watching people eat and watching kids play and sharing and having a glass of wine and just realizing, like, this is what cooking and food is about. And for her to find a way to do that on a scale of a line down the street at the farmer's market and 600 empanadas at a single farmer's market, and yet I have no doubt that if you go to her stand and spend a couple minutes talking to her, if you listen to this and say, hey, I heard you on the podcast, I loved your story, you are going to get a warm exchange of someone who is just genuinely into cooking delicious things that people like to enjoy and engaging with them as they purchase them and as they eat them.
She is exactly what you and I think, dreamed of when we started this podcast, was Yeah, it was funny. I was actually asked this question on a different podcast, but I was asked, who is your great white whale? And it's like, my great white whale is someone who got their start as nothing and is now has a brick and mortar on the street. And that's exactly what Maria is. I've had the opportunity to see her start from serving the patio to running a woman-led business in downtown Sacramento. It's awesome.
It's amazing. All right, so let's jump back into the interview, talking a little bit more about empanadas, paella, and get a little bit into some of her roots again in Mexico and the food she grew up with.
Now, are you going to continue doing the farmer's market with having your own store open?
Yes.
Yeah.
A farmer's market is a lot of fun. You get to interact with people a lot more and
see the faces, see the smiles.
Yes, and all the questions, all the pictures. I'm like, where did these pictures go? If they upload it somewhere, it must be doing something to an algorithm. Because there's hundreds of pictures.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure people are, taking pictures of it and
they're not tagging me.
So start tagging Maria's Paella if you're gonna, do your bit. If you're gonna.
I know.
Put a big old sign up top.
You're going to be a person who's,
I know, right? I always say, for good karma, tag me.
That's right.
Hold on. Put that on the empanada. Tag me.
Oh.
There we go. There we go. I mean, you take one. Yeah, there we go. A little tag me in there. That'll get you way up on. Hold on. Can you put a QR code?
That's exactly what I just received the.
No, I'm saying can you put on the empanada?
On the empanada. I'm sure.
I don't know. Baking it would move it.
It might be tougher to scan, but you can definitely put a handle on there.
Just 100%. On the boxes or the bags that
there you go.
Right?
Yeah. There you go. That's fine. Now you were talking about with paella. Do you have just a single recipe? Do you have variants? Do you play with flavors like clams versus shrimps versus prawns, or do you kind of have a stationary paella recipe?
At the market we have the most standard one, which is the chicken and shrimp. Mm-hmm. It's the most popular one. At the Midtown Farmers Market, we have very short time to cook and to sell. In other words, to make our money. So I have 3 hours to make our money. How do I do that? I prepare for it. So, and I found out that in doing this, the paella tastes much better because I make the broth the day before. So all the flavors marry together, and the next day I don't have to wait too long. The broth is already made. So that's the staple broth for all my empanadas. All my paellas.
Okay.
So I used to have seafood and a vegetarian one. But now to avoid cross-contamination, so I make only one base for all my paellas.
So we've heard all about your kitchen and food exploits. Who are you outside of Maria's Paella? You say you're a mother to 4. So what do you like to do outside of the kitchen and outside of the restaurant?
Eat more. No, I guess all of us come to this point in life when we settle. I'm into plants. I have plants. I practice yoga. I walk my dogs, and I try a new dish every Thursday. Lily and I, my daughter, we go try something different. And I like to stay home a lot. And my yoga studio is near my house, so I drive, practice, and come back home to walk my dogs. It's pretty boring for what I would say to the Maria 10 years ago.
Sounds quite nice, though.
Yeah.
But I enjoy it so much.
All right. Should we jump into some rapid-fire questions?
The fun stuff. You want to go first?
You go for it.
This is the fun stuff.
What is your favorite cheap guilty pleasure?
Oh, wow. Fried chicken from Safe Mart.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yep. That is a good
That's
call.
That's a good one. Yep.
If you go to some potluck or some event where last minute you're like, I was supposed to bring something, and you just grab one of those 8-piece fried chicken.
No one's mad.
Always get destroyed. Yeah. It's always a hit.
Yes.
100%. Yeah.
And they have those steak fries. That's easy.
You mentioned you love coffee. What's your favorite coffee in Sacramento currently?
Coffee place?
Yeah.
Or
coffee roaster, we'll say.
I drink, this is an answer because I was just talking to someone yesterday about it actually. My coffee is black coffee. it's especially the first one. It's like a ritual.
Mm.
It's like a ritual to me. And anyway, so my first coffee place is La Costa right now.
Okay.
It's only a couple blocks away from me and from the kitchen. I spend a lot of time in the kitchen, and honestly, that walk from my kitchen to La Costa, it's draining. I'm usually get out and just walk because I need to process something.
Yeah.
When it's something quick, I go to Milka Cafe. They also have amazing coffee, and they give me points. But now I have a coffee machine.
La Costa also, for a coffee shop, outstanding ceviche. Actually, the whole kitchen is fantastic.
It's fantastic.
But yeah, highly recommend that place.
All right.
19th and G, I believe it is. Yeah, great spot.
100%.
Great spot.
Yeah, I love it.
What's your favorite dish to cook at home?
I'm very simple. My favorite dish is a fried quesadilla with a roasted jalapeno, lime juice, and salt.
Keep it simple. I might do that this afternoon.
That sounds
pretty tasty.
Absolutely.
Great for the munchies.
What kind of cheese?
We use a Mexican blend.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We just mentioned La Costa. What's another like small place that maybe you're not seeing in the SAC B or in Comstocks or, popping up in Sacramento that you'd want to throw a little love to that you've enjoyed? You mentioned you go out every Thursday with your daughter to try something new. What's a place recently you went to that maybe people don't know about?
No, this was big because she is very adventurous in eating food, and she's 10. So she's seen all this K-pop thing, right?
Yeah,
the
sure.
music, the colors. So we went to the KP market in Rancho.
Oh, nice.
I had never been to it, sadly. I heard about it. I thought it was just a market. But then for me, for foodies, it's a Disneyland.
Oh, yeah.
All these ingredients you see, and I tried a Korean bento box because she wanted me. If I want to go to a place to eat, I really like Nena's. It's on Richards Boulevard. It's a Mexican restaurant.
Let's check it out.
They make the tortillas the closest that my mom makes it.
Are you watching anything right now? What is your current media, book, podcast, or movie or anything you're watching?
I read 1 hour every day. Right now I'm reading The Chalice, and that hour I got up early. I tried to read. I'm reading a book called The Chalice and the Blade. It's such a very good book. I read one easy and one hard book because when it's very deep, then I try to read an easy novel.
Well, Maria, this was lovely. Thank you so much for coming in, and I'm ready for some more paella right now and go get some.
Yeah, you guys open today?
Yes, we're opened. We're open at 9 till 3.
And where's your storefront location?
We are on 701 16th Street, right on the corner of G and 16th. G as in golf. So come visit us. It's hard to miss us.
Yeah.
And the empanadas are delicious.
Made with love by me to you.
Well, Neil, we listened to that back part of the episode, and there was a part where she talked about the day she's miserable doing what she's doing is the day she gives it up. And I believe her 100%. I mean, she reads an hour a day. She does yoga. She prays and meditates. She's a mom. Like, she might be the most well-balanced person in the restaurant industry we've ever talked to, or maybe that I've ever met.
Or the only one. But
Yeah,
yes, you're right. It is absolutely incredible, and you can see it. She has a glow about her, and she's just always happy doing what she's doing. And again, like I've talked about, I'm just really proud of her.
Yeah, if she decides she hates food at some point, she can just go right into the wellness influencer world of just here's how you live a good life. Here's how you feel fulfilled. She fits right into that vein, and yet you can go eat that love and that joy that she fills empanadas with it and fills up bowls of paella with it. And you can taste it, you can feel it. As we said in one of our interludes, she's the type of person cooking our food that we sort of hope is cooking our food when we go to a place and it's good. You hope it's not being cooked by some sour, jaded chef who's throwing pots and pans and screaming at employees and that sort of thing, right? It's like she's the friendly person who loves to connect through food.
Yeah, kind of reminds me of the movie Chef a little bit, kind of getting back to your roots and doing what makes people happy.
Totally. Absolutely. All right. Well, that does it for this episode of the 916. If you liked this episode, like, share, subscribe. The easiest way for more people to find out about the show, frankly, is just send them a link. Just send them a link to our website. This will be at the top of our website. Easy for someone who knows nothing about podcasts to click or share it through your podcast app. That's how a show like a regional show like this grows. You can follow us on Instagram and at dine16.com. But to be fair, the best way for you to help grow the show is to share it with friends and family and have people listen.
And once again, to everyone who listens, thank you so much. Like this, again, this is beyond our wildest dreams. This doesn't happen without you guys.
Yeah, it's really true. We love doing it. We're shocked how often we run into people who, I mean, Neil has stories of working with people. He has stories of customers, people hearing his voice and going, wait, Neil, like the 916? And we never envisioned that would happen when we started this. We just wanted to talk about food. And people are starting to listen. It's a cool deal. Our opening and closing theme music are by my brother-in-law, Mark Owens. The 916 is a production of the Hear Me Now studio in Sacramento, California. We've got another episode coming to you in 2 weeks. One of the heavy hitters in Sacramento, one of the white whales, as Neil referred to earlier. We cannot wait to bring that episode to you in 2 weeks. Until then, go to the farmer's market, get some stone fruit, because now's the time. It's going to be gone soon. Get some strawberries and get some paella and enjoy it with somebody you love, as we always like to say. Eat something you love with someone you love.